Today I'm going to tell you first thing to do as soon as you land in Vietnam. You ensure that your employer start with the work permit. You need to speak to your employer to get you a work permit. You need to insist. So guys, if you like the topic that I'm going to talk about, please take a moment, subscribe to the channel, like the video and share the video. By so doing, it doesn't take anything from you. It's just, prompt me to do more videos. But don't forget, you don't have a lot of time. And once your visa expires, you are going to be in a big trouble, because if you overstay for 1 month, you are going to pay like 500,000 up to 2 million Vietnam dong. And so you need to start putting pressure on them and make sure you get them the necessary documentation so that they apply for your work permit once you get to Vietnam. Now, people get to Vietnam and they get confused on what to do next. Some people to also come, and the agent who helped them to come, sometimes they just abandon you on the way and you don't know what to do, and now you have found one thing and you have to do things by yourself. So I'm going to tell you the first thing that you need to do as soon as you get or enter into Vietnam, to come and teach as a teacher. So most of the times, maybe you request for a visa, or let's say you come in with an invitation letter, and with an invitation they mostly give you 1 month or 3 months, and you have come here to teach, meaning you're going to spend like at least a year. So you need a year visa to be able to work here, but you get 1 month visa on arrival. So guys, when you get here, this is the first thing that you need to do. One, if you came in with a company, so let's say a company invited you to come and teach, so they pick you at the airport and you have 1 month visa. Sometimes the 1 month is going to take like let's say you're going to take like 1 week to prepare yourself, so you come here in the second week. So by the time you get to Vietnam, you already have just 2 months left for your visa to expire. So the next thing to do is that immediately after getting home, you now need to talk to your employer. Your employer needs to get you your work permit. That's the first thing, because the work permit that can be used to get a TLC or a visa, or if you need to get an extension of visa, you can use the work permit. So first thing to do is that you ensure that your employer start with the work permit, the process. And what document do you need for the work permit? So document that you need are your legalized police check certificate, your legalized health certificate, and then your various university certificate. They normally don't use that. Yes. So once your employer, and don't forget that your employer is the only person who can, do your work permit for you. You can do it. It is the company that is bringing you. They can do the work permit, and they can also apply for you. So they will take such document to DOLISA. So if you haven't legalized them, then the first thing is that you need to get them legalized. And then if you don't have your police check and your health check, then you have to do it in Vietnam. And then your company file for the work permit. It usually takes like 7 days, depending on the time, 7 days to 1 month, depending on the time that it was presented, and if all documents needed were also presented. If they were presented, then it will take like 7 days or sometimes more. I have a detailed video on work permit, so you can check it. I'll pin it, a detailed video on work permit process and how to get it, so you can refer to that video. So the first thing is that you need to speak to your employer to get you a work permit. You need to insist, because when you come, some of them they use certain tricks. So their trick is, maybe they haven't seen you teaching before, so they want to work with you for some time to see if you are a good teacher, if they can work with you. So they'll be, oh, relax, oh, tomorrow, oh, next week, oh. But don't forget, you don't have a lot of time. And once your visa expires, you are going to be in a big trouble, because if you overstay for 1 month, you are going to pay like 500,000 up to 2 million Vietnam dong. And so you need to start putting pressure on them and make sure you get them the necessary documentation so that they apply for your work permit once you get to Vietnam. Now, after getting into Vietnam, after getting your work permit, the next thing is that you use the work permit to apply for a TLC. Now, the TLC is like a green card. I also have a video on TLC. It's like a green card. You can be given 2 years, or depending on the number of years you'll be given. When you get a TLC, then you are okay. Then you no longer have to renew your visa again, because the TLC is like your green card, or like your visa that you stay in the country with. It makes you legal. You can have multiple entry or single entry TLC. So whichever that you have, you apply for your TLC. Now, if you don't get your TLC on time, Then you apply to the immigration for an extension for, let's say, 1 month or 3 months, and you apply for extension with your work permit, or if you don't have the work permit, you with a letter, something from the Olisa where you presented is to show that, oh yes, you have applied for a work permit, you haven't received it, and so it's on the way, it's being processed. With that document, that they are going to extend your visa for you. Without such document, your visa is not going to be extended for you. So take note. So you apply for your TLC and then your work permit. Once you get this document, or let's say a 1-year visa without TLC, that's also allowed. Once you have this document, then now you have your peace of mind to work. Until you get this document, guy, never rest. Until you get this document done, never rest. Now let me come to those people who also is invited by a company, but they won't necessarily work with the company. There are people who are invited, they come, or let's say they couldn't have time, or let's say they couldn't find a sponsor to bring them, and so they rely on, you know what I'm talking about, to get them a business visa to come in. So they come in, but that company is not going to work with you. That company won't work with you. They've helped you come in. Now, the next process is for you to find a company. So once you arrive and you have your 3 months, now in that case, if you are given 1 month, you need to make sure that very week you come to Vietnam. After getting to Vietnam, now the next thing to do is that go home, relax, and look for a company. How do you look for a company? Go on the Facebook and social media, Vietnam Teaching Group. I have a video that details how to get a job in Vietnam. And then start sending your applications. You can also talk to people, people around, guys that you know in Vietnam, so that they also talk to employers who may be looking for teachers, because there are people always looking for teachers. There are schools and centers always looking for teachers. It's just the right connection. You get the right connection, the right links, and then you have your all document legalized. Once you have this, you get a school, then they start with a work permit procedure for you. And in that case, be prepared to pay. Sometimes you pay half, and then they also pay half, or sometimes you pay everything, but work permit is not that expensive. So you just have to, be able to afford that. And once they do that for you, you get your TLC before you can relax. Now, regulations in Vietnam keeps changing. It keeps changing every day, day in and day out. Now, the latest regulation, it's been there for a long time, but they're now enforcing it, is that if you have a company, if you have a work permit with company A, you can't work with company B. Now it's been enforced to the core, and now they are going into schools and centers, tracking foreigners, teaching. They will check your work permit, and if you don't have it, or if you have it but it's in the name of company A, you are being detained and blah 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 blah. And if you're unable to go around it well, you're going to be in a big trouble. So that's it. So if you have your work permit and you want to work with another company, you need to tell or you inform that your employer, okay, so now I'm teaching for you in public school, but the evening I want to do some evening classes. I have this camp center, they want to work with me. Based on recommendation, he's also going to give you some letter, and is going to help you to make a letter with that school or that center. And what is going to happen is that he is going to give the permit for them to also do a permit for you, or you can teach from that company under the auspices of where you are working. But what that would mean is that you won't make a lot of money, because when you allow them to spearhead it, of course, you're going to get some commission and you won't get everything. But then when you do it by yourself, you're going to get everything. But that also is a bit, it's a bit scary. So when you are in the bigger places like Hanoi, Ho Chi Minh, all the bigger places, it doesn't really, that is not much of a trouble, because people, you can do that and you won't have a problem. But if you are not, then if you are in smaller places where there are, let's say, few centers, and they know like person A knows person B knows person C, you can be reported. They can report to it, especially when you have worked in one school and you have painfully left to the other school, and they know that you don't have the work permit. They can report to that, hey, the guy teaching there doesn't have a permit, and you'll be there teaching one day and they will come and arrest you, and you'll be in a mess. So you gotta be trouble. You gotta be careful with that, and then have that done. So guys, today my video and my message is very short, but then don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Don't forget subscribing and commenting and sharing my videos. It motivates me to do more. My name is Kweku Sikeni Abrante. Subscribe and let's get going.